We are going to start on our backs today. So, Teresa, if you want to stay and legs up the wall, you're welcome to for a little while longer. Hello. Great. So, we're going to start today on our backs. And really, you want to just be comfortable. So, you can experiment with how the legs are most comfortable. Sometimes bending the knees feels nice. Maybe you want to rest the knees against each other to broaden across the back. You want to rest them out to the side, you may, or just have the legs straight, whatever feels right to you. And if you're comfortable closing the eyes, I invite you to do so. Signifying to the mind that we're drawing our awareness inward. And we might begin by just feeling the heaviness of the body on the ground. Maybe taking a little scan of the body to see if there's any holding, tightness, tension, even in little muscles like in the forehead or the jaw, the hands and feet. Just checking in. And then we'll start to feel the breath. And with a soft belly, we can deepen the breath into the belly. And then breathing even deeper, moving the breath from the belly to the chest. Feeling the rise and fall of the breath in the body. Maybe connecting with a sense of ease as you exhale. You might notice that the mind is wandering, especially if you're coming from some mental activity. It's not like the mind just instantly turns off. That's okay. Just, it's enough just to be aware that the mind is wandering and invite it back to being in the body right here, right now. It's just like training a puppy. Wants to run off. Smell this and that. You just tell it again, sit, stay. That's what we're doing. We're training the mind just as we're training the body. And we can all bend the knees. And if you're up at the wall, you'll need to scoot back away from the wall. And then take the feet out nice and wide as they'll go, really, with the knees bent. So we're bending the knees, having the feet on the ground. And then we'll take hold of opposite elbows. And then as we exhale, we'll let the knees drop to the left and the elbows to the right. Inhale back up. Exhale, knees right, elbows left. And then just continue like this at your own pace. And we'll start to add the head. We're going to turn the head away from the elbows. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And the next time the knees come to the left, we'll let them rest there. Release the arms and bring the right arm overhead. And if you want, you can deepen the stretch by placing the left foot on top of the right knee. We want to try to let that right knee release down toward the floor. And then curl the right foot in like you're aiming the outer edge of the right foot toward the right knee. So it's a side flexing of the foot. It's not a big movement. You may not even be able to feel it at all. Just make that intention. And then we'll stretch the right arm up overhead nice and long. And send the breath in and out of this new shape. Breathing in deeply and slowly. And then you can release the right arm by your side and place the left foot on the ground so the knee is pointing up. left foot down, left knee up. And then we're going to reach and grab hold of that right foot. Roll a little bit to your left and then roll back with that right foot alongside the right hip. If you're able to, you want to be on the top of that right foot. If you're not able to, don't worry about it. And again, here, we want to try to lower that right knee to the ground. So we want to keep the left foot flat on the floor with the left knee facing up into the air. And then we're going to push down into the left foot to help us curl the tailbone up, deepening the stretch in the right leg. And then I'll give you some options with the right hand. You can bring it back overhead like we had it before. Or if you're on the top of your right foot, you can, if you want, bring your right hand to your right heel and press forward to deepen the stretch. And we're maintaining a certain amount of pressure with the left foot on the ground, keeping the tailbone curled under. And that not only deepens the stretch, but it kind of protects the lower back. And of course, we're staying with that slow, deep breath. And release the right hand if it's doing something. And then roll a little bit to your left side so that you can release the right foot. Placing both feet on the ground, both knees bent. And again, take the feet wide as they'll go. Exactly. And then we're going to let the knees drop to the right. Send the left arm overhead. And then if you want to facilitate the stretch by placing the right foot on top of the left leg, go ahead and do that. And then again, we'll curl the outer edge of the left foot in the direction of the left knee. See if you can feel how the breath expands inside the shape that you're in. And then release the left arm back down. Place the right foot on the ground with the knee facing up. And then reach and grab hold of your left foot, rolling slightly to the right so that you can tuck that left foot beside the left hip and bring the knee down toward the ground. And then You can bring the left arm overhead if you wish, or you can place the hand at your left heel and press forward. We'll press down into the right foot and curl the tailbone up. And release the left hand if it's doing something. And release the left foot, placing it on the ground. And then hug both knees into the chest. Curl your head up to your knees. Wrap your arms nicely around your legs as best as you can. Just breathing here. Beautiful. And release your head down. Return the feet to the ground. Bring your right arm overhead. And then roll onto your right side. Letting your head rest on your arm. Now send the left arm out onto the floor in front of you. So the left arm is perpendicular to the body. Great. Now we're going to start to skim the fingertips across the floor in a circle, moving upward toward the head, touching the floor with that left hand, and then continuing the circle as you go around. At some point, for most of you, the hand will need to come off the ground, and that's fine. You just want to stay going in the circle. And then at the first point that you can return the hand to the ground, please do. And then just continue. The hand will go over the legs, back to the floor in front of you, fingertips on the ground. Just continuing making these big circles, breathing, finding your way back to the ground. The next time your hand comes back to the starting position, out diagonally away from the body, you can reverse directions. And the next time your hand comes to the starting position, you can leave it there. Beautiful. And then go ahead and take hold of your left foot with your left hand and start to move the foot back and away from you, kicking it back, kicking it back, kicking it back. And seeing where that takes your breath. Every position that we move the body into creates a different internal structure for the breath. And it's nice to pay attention to where we feel the breath, and then that helps us perhaps open the breath into the body a little bit more. Breathing a little deeper, making a little more space inside. Okay, release that leg and arm. Roll over onto your back. Send the left arm overhead. Roll onto your side, resting your head on your left arm. Send the right arm out, perpendicular to the body, fingertips on the floor, skimming the fingertips in a circle, moving toward the head. Trying to stay on the floor for as much of the circle as you can. The next time the hand comes back to the starting position, you can reverse directions. The next time you come back to the starting position, you can stay there. And then grab a hold of your right foot with your right hand and start to kick the foot back and away from you. Try not to lift the knee too high off the ground. It kind of takes away the stretch. Try to keep that right thigh parallel to the ground, the foot in line with the knee. So you're not lifting the foot higher than the knee and rotating at the hip. You want to have that thigh and shin as best as possible parallel to the ground, and then kick back. Breathing in, breathing out. Just rolling that shoulder open by kicking the foot back. Seeing if that helps the breath come into the chest a little bit more, particularly there on the right side. Okay, release the hand and foot. Resting the right hand back on the floor in front of you. Press into the right hand. Now don't come up yet. I'm going to talk us through the coming up. This is what I mean when at the end of class I say to sit up and let your head come up last. You want to press into the right hand And you're kind of going to let your head hang down as you bring yourself up. And then the body lifts, and then the last thing that comes up is the head. Beautiful. Okay. So we're going to come into Andrew's comfortable seated position with the bottoms of the feet together, and the hands will wrap around the shins. And then we'll just do a little bit of butterflying here, letting the knees flutter up and down, warming up those hips. If you close your eyes, you can perhaps get more into the feeling of the butterfly fluttering its wings. Okay, and then you can let the legs rest. Bring the left hand across to the right shin. Inhale the right arm up. And then exhale, reach over to the left side. Turn your head up and to the right. Breathe slow and deep. I know I'm a broken record, but the breath is everything. You can see if you're in this posture with like a little shallow breath, you don't really feel a whole lot of stretch. Then if you start to deepen the breath, you see how the posture isn't necessarily doing the stretch. It's just directing the breath to come into a particular part of the body, and then the breath does the stretching. Beautiful. Release down. Bringing the right hand across to the left shin. Inhale and reach the left arm up. Exhale, reach across to the right. Turn your head up and to the left. Turn your attention inward. Expanding the ribs, expanding the side body. And release. Bring the hands back to the shins. Pull the hands toward you, lifting the chest. Roll the shoulders back and down. And then hinge forward from the hips. Release the hands to the ground. And then with each breath, see if you can release forward a little more. Not a forcing or a struggle, just breathing deeply in, feeling what that does, breathing all the air out, and just surrendering the bones in their heaviness to the earth. You can let the head drop. The arms are resting lightly on the ground. The elbows are bent. Even if you're not low enough to feel like you can actually bend the elbows, just unlock them. and see how it feels if you draw the lower belly in toward the spine as you exhale. And then walk the hands in, roll yourself up, reach the arms up, take another breath in, exhale the arms down, bringing them to the ground behind you, cross the ankles, and flip over onto hands and knees. You're welcome to come onto fists, or if you're on hands, spread the fingers wide and check in that the hands are right under the shoulders, the knees are right under the hips, so you're in a table position. And then as we inhale, we'll let the belly drop down and then carry the breath up from the belly to the chest as we reach the eyes up. Exhale, curl the tailbone, lift the belly, drop the head, push the ground away with your hands. Inhaling, tailbone up, belly down, chest up, eyes up. Exhaling, reverse. And it's a gradual movement. The spine is undulating, starting at the tailbone and then rippling up all the way to the head. Moving with the rhythm of your breath. And then one more in each direction. And then come back to neutral spine. Place the left forearm down on the ground under your chest horizontally, coming down onto the elbow. And then send the right arm forward. Keep reaching forward, but not to the point that you're moving your hips forward. You want to keep your hips lined up over your knees. Then you can let the head rest down. Let the chest sink down. Keep the right arm straight, letting the right armpit sink down, really opening that shoulder. Using that nice long, slow exhale to relax into it. And then walk that right hand over to the left side. Pull back with the right hip.
So we have all these little muscles inside the ribs, intercostal muscles. And if those are tight, then the ribs don't expand as well to allow for the fullness of the breath. So it's really helpful to stretch all the muscles around the ribs. And the breath is also helping that. So the conscious, intentional deep breathing. And then we'll bring the right hand back under the shoulder, press into the hand to lift back up onto hands and knees. Come down onto the right forearm. Send the left arm forward as far as you can go without sending the hips in front of the knees. Let the head rest down in any way that you can. And then just sink down through the chest. Release through the armpit. Connect with your breath. And walk that left hand over to the right. And pull your left hip back. Does this make more room for your breath? Less room for your breath? No change noticeable? Remember, there's never a right or wrong answer in these inquiries. It's really just about staying curious about the relationship between the breath and the body and the mind. When they all come together, there's a sense of peace to your nervous system. Okay, and then bring that left hand under the shoulder, press down into it to come back up onto hands and knees. And then we'll come into puppy pose, taking both arms forward. We want to keep the hips over the knees. Sink the chest. Either rest on the forehead or, if you can, on the chin. That will deepen the stretch. Or to go even deeper on the cheek, lowering the back down toward the ground. And a nice deep stretch in the mid back and the upper back. And then the shoulders. If you're on one cheek, go to the other one. If you're on one cheek, bring your head center. Bring both hands back in under the shoulders. Come back up onto hands and knees. And round your back. Staying here in cat pose for a few breaths. pressing the ground away to help lift the front body up toward the back body. And then as you breathe, see if you feel that in your back body. Maybe stretching across the shoulder blades. And then relax the back, coming back to neutral spine. Walk the hands over to the left and step the right foot up. You might need to help it to come up so that it's kind of straight in front of you, in line with the hip. And then we'll bring one hand on either side of that right foot and let the hips drop forward and down, coming into a lunge. Those of you who crave more active versions, you can make this into a runner's lunge instead, curling the back toes under and lifting the knee. You can make it into a high lunge, lifting the body, maybe doing a one arm lift or a two arm lift. See what's going to work for you today. It's all about just stretching the front of that hip flexor. So the version that feels best to you is the right one. And sometimes less is more. If you're not using your muscles to do the strengthening part of a posture, you can really focus your energy on the stretching. Okay, if your knee is not on the ground, please bring it down. And then walk the hands back as we start to straighten that right leg. And then we're going to point and flex the foot. Try to have the knee straight as best as possible. And then hold the flex position, pulling the toes toward your face. Take a breath in. And then exhale and fold over your leg. Draw the lower belly in toward your spine. Slowly drag the breath through the body and exhale all the air out, releasing the weight of your torso over your leg. Try to let your hands really rest. Not everybody's hands are going to reach the floor, but if your hands are on the floor, notice if there's any effort in the arms or hands, any tension, any sense of holding yourself up in the pose, which is actually holding yourself back from the stretch. And see if you can just soften, maybe bending the elbows, maybe letting the hands rest on fingertips just for balance, or just touching down ever so slightly. Let the head relax down, the shoulders relax. Every exhale, an invitation to relax a little more. Belly pulling back toward the spine. Good. Lift your head. Shift your hips forward again. Right arm inside, sending the leg back. Walking the hands over to the right, step the left foot up. And bring the hands back.
Drop the hips forward. So we're starting with the left knee bent for now. First coming into the lunge. That's it. And just keep letting those hips drop. Just letting the hips drop, letting the belly be soft. Letting the breath be full and relaxed. And those of you who did an alternate version on the other side, feel free to do it on this side if you feel so inclined. Sinking down, letting go. If you're in a version with the knee off the ground, please bring it back down. And then we'll send the hips back, straightening that left leg, walking the hands in, point and flex the foot. And then hold the foot in the flex position. Take a breath in. Exhale. Release the upper body over the leg. Drop the head. Draw the navel back toward the tailbone as you exhale. And check in with the arms. See if there's a sense of them working in any way. And see if you can switch to them simply resting on the ground. And then we'll also rest the mind. Just feeling the breath. Just seeing how restful it can be to let go of the past or the future and just be right here in this moment, feeling the body, feeling the breath. And then shift the weight forward again. Bring the arm inside. Send the knee back. And come down onto your belly. Okay, so we've opened the chest. We've opened the hips. Now we're going to bring it all together, bending the knees. Reach back and grab hold of the feet or the ankles if you can reach the ankles. If you can't reach the feet, then hopefully you have a strap handy and can wrap that around the feet. If you reach the ankles, feel free to flex the feet. And then press the tailbone actively down into the ground. And then kick the feet up and back. Lift your head up. Roll your eyes up toward the sky. Sometimes if you can't reach the feet, you can just grab hold of your pant legs if you're wearing pants. Try to breathe up into those collarbones. Kelly, you're fine to be in your Sphinx pose. And then just kind of lift the chest and the gaze and just stay there. That's great. I love modifications. And release down.
Just rest your head to the side. Feel the body breathing into the earth. Place the hands under the shoulders. Bring your head center.
Push into the hands to lift up. Spread the fingers, curl the toes, come all the way up.
Lifting the knees. And then imagine you're just trying to fold your body in half, except your hands are going to stay where they are. You're going to push the hands forward and then try to bring the chest toward the thighs. Press the heels toward the floor. Drop the head down. Roll the shoulders down the back. Repress into all 10 fingers. Lift the creases at the tops of the thighs. Slow, long breath. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Bring the knees to the ground. Come and sit off to either side. Bring the feet in front of you. And slowly come down onto your back. Knees are bent so that you can lift your hips, tuck them under, and release the legs and shake the legs out. If you're using an eye pillow, you can place that on your eyes. Then rest the arms out away from the body with the palms up. Closing eyes, breathing in deep through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the body into the earth. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the jaw, letting the lips slightly part. Inhale deep. Exhale out of the mouth, releasing the activity of the mind, letting go of the words and the images, and centering the mind on the sensation of breath. Just seeing where you can most connect to the feeling of the breath in the body. And then once you park your attention at the breath, let go of the breath. Just trust that the breath will breathe for you. You don't need to help it. You don't need to change it or fix anything. It's doing what it needs to do. And we're just along for the ride, watching with a sense of interest and care. Letting the whole body relax. Letting the mind relax. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go.
Breathe into the heart. Move fingers and toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath and stretch long. Hug the knees into the chest. Rocking side to side, feeling the ground massaging your back. Hands to knees, knees to chest. And then come center, rub hand to hand and foot to foot. We'll move on to your side, resting your head on your underside arm, resting your body on the ground, resting in the now, whatever's here, being with yourself in this way. And then we'll slowly press up into a seated position, letting your head come up last, where we did at the beginning of class. Coming into any position that's comfortable for you, letting your sit bones sink down, your head lift tall. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale the hands together at the heart. Inhale the heart up to the hands. Exhale, shoulders relax down. Inhale deeply, breathing in from bottom to top. Take it all in. Let it all go. Drop the chin to the chest. Namaste.